Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is having an amazing Saturday and weekend so far. So, I had told you guys I would upload today. I'm sorry it's going to get out a little late because it's going to take probably an hour and a half to upload, and it is now 8:40 Eastern Time. So, my dad called me last night and invited me to dinner because it was my sister's birthday. So we went out and celebrated and took the whole family pretty much out to dinner and had a couple drinks, and it was really nice. So I got to wish my sister a happy birthday, and I still got to do my video. So I hope everyone enjoyed the last one. And I forgot, I noticed it, but I totally forgot to say phone ping in Frederick. Finally, out of all the series so far, we finally saw the phone ping in Frederick. All right, guys, if you are a returning subscriber or a member, you guys already know you are the best, and I appreciate all the love and support you show my channel. I could not do this without you. Your comments, all of it. I appreciate it all. And if you are not subscribed, stick around, take a chance, and consider subscribing already. Just kidding. All right, guys, let's get into this video. And also, let me know if you guys would like to go. I talk about this at the end of the video, but if you guys would like to do the very next one or skip over and go to the next one, because the next one after this is going to be pretty much the walkthrough when Nickole Atkinson's at the house. But let me know if you guys want to skip that one down below or if you would like to see it. So we can go to the next one if you want, or we can watch that again. But I know I've had a couple videos on it. All right, let's dive right in. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay.
Melissa Parrish and Chad McNeil departed to a second site while Chris and Troy McCoy were still at Survey 319. 9:30 and 43 seconds a.m., Chris left Survey 319, geotapped GPS, and drove for 8 minutes, a distance of 2 miles. 9:31 a.m., Troy McCoy left Survey 319, geotapped GPS, he drove for 11 minutes, a distance of 2 miles. 9:39 and 15 seconds a.m., Chris's GPS shows he was at Survey State 1029, OSA Co. Road 386, Keensburg, Colorado, 80643, at 9:39 a.m.
You know what this makes me think about? Is that we have the employees of Anadarko's GPS. We have Chris's GPS. We have Nickole Atkinson's GPS. Everyone involved in the case, they got the GPS from. But we do not have Nickole Kessinger's. So, in my opinion, this was the most corrupt investigation ever. And I hope that D.A. Rourke and his cronies, whoever was involved, they held accountable whenever we get a new DA in office. Because when we get a new DA in office and he looks over this case, he's going to be astonished on how many mistakes were made.
Here he met Cody Roberts. Chris stayed here for 3 hours 13 minutes. 9:42 and 9 seconds a.m., Troy McCoy arrived at Survey 1029. He stayed there for 42 minutes. GPS, distance traveled 2 miles. 9:49 and 18 seconds a.m., Shanann received a voicemail. 9:58 and 25 seconds a.m., Chris had a log entry Groupon app on his personal phone. 10 a.m., no movement recorded on Chris's personal phone. 10:03 a.m., Cassie Rosenberg texts Shanann saying, "Honey, you have me worried about you. Please tell me you're okay and just don't want to talk." 10:03 and 37 seconds a.m., incoming call to Shanann from Sandra Rusek, her mom, unanswered. Frank Rusek said Shanann's mom kept calling and calling Shanann but got no reply. He also said Sandra texted her, "I have seen no evidence of this at all. This is the only call recorded."
Another thing, Chris either is the most stupid criminal on earth or he did not do this alone. Because he knew that Shanann had so many friends and a family that she talked to every day. He had no time. What was he going to do? What was he going to say?
My wife was trying to get a hold of Chris. Well, first she tried to get a hold of my daughter that morning, that Monday morning. She kept calling her, couldn't get her, so she texted her, and she texted her something. Well, she says she texted her.
10:06 a.m., Centure Health Physician Group Women's Health in Erie called Shanann's phone and left a message. 10:10 and 47 seconds a.m., Chris searched Google for the lyrics to Battery by Metallica.
That were supposedly, allegedly sent to him by Nickole Atkinson. I'm not sure if it's the other way around, though. He may have sent them to her. I don't know.
On his personal phone.
This is too loud for you to skip over it. I'm just waiting to see if it shows the lyrics so you guys can actually see how sick this is. So the lyrics, basically, that's the part they're talking about. Cannot kill the battery, cannot kill the family, and batteries, they are the oil tanks. The oil tanks are referred to as batteries. So that shows you that him and Nickole both knew what was going on. Now I'm going to skip through this for those of you that can't stand that, so you know that. All right, there's the end of it. So let's finish.
10:25 and 4 seconds a.m. Troy
Sorry if
McCoy
that was
started his
loud.
truck, geotap GPS. 10:25 and 24 seconds a.m. Troy stopped his truck. Geotap GPS, 0 distance traveled. Still at Survey 10:29. He stayed a further 3 hours 33 minutes. Nickole Atkinson said she spoke with Sandra, Shanann's mom, that morning and was concerned about Shanann and the girls' whereabouts. This has to be before Sandy messaged Chris and after she spoke to the school, because Sandra knew Bella was not at kindergarten. 10:28 a.m., Sandra Rusek, Shanann's mother, texted Chris saying, "Is Shanann okay?" Chris made an unanswered call to Sandra on his personal phone. She called him back and held a 1-minute conversation. She told him Shanann isn't answering the phone. "You better phone the hospitals," and Shanann was supposed to take Bella to kindergarten. Chris told her, "Shanann is okay, she has gone with the girls to a friend's house. We had a little fight this morning but she is okay. She was in one of her moods." Between 10:33 a.m. and 10:41 a.m., Chris searched the internet for hotels in Aspen on his personal phone. 10:41 a.m., Nickole Atkinson leaves her house in Firestone to go look at a house near 1721 Tulip Street, Longmorn, a 16-mile drive. From 10:41 a.m. to 11:11 a.m. A 30-minute journey. Life 360. Nickole Atkinson said she drove to Longmorn to look at a house for Cassie Rosenberg. That's when her and Cassie discussed Shanann missing. 10:42 a.m., Chris called the Westin Snowmass Resort on his personal phone and held a nearly 2-minute conversation. Most probably canceling the reservation Shanann had made. Also remember these calls and texts are being made while Chris is at Survey 1029 while his workmates are there as well. 10:44 a.m., Sandra Rousseck called Chris briefly. 10:45 a.m., Chris searched the internet for Groupon to include the company's contact information. 10:51 a.m., Chris on his personal phone called Sandra Rousseck back and held a 1-minute 12-second conversation. 11 a.m., very little movement. Around 30 steps recorded on Chris's personal phone. 11:11 a.m., Nickole Atkinson arrives to go look at a house near 1721 Tulip Street, Longmorn. She was there from 11:11 a.m. to 11:46 a.m. Life 360. 11:21 a.m., Troy McCoy said he got an O2 hit at 11:21 a.m. on his gas monitor. He said he was getting a pipe wrench out of his toolbox, and if you stand too close to the exhaust when the truck's running it gives you a hit, so the IOC called him 3 times to verify he was okay. Gas monitors are devices used to detect combustible, flammable and toxic gases, and oxygen depletion, hazardous to human health.
And I got a O2 hit at 11:21 a.m. on my gas monitor because I was getting a pipe wrench out of my toolbox, and if you stand too close to that exhaust where your truck's running, it'll give you a hit. So the IOC called me 3 times.
Sensitive.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
They had to call me 3 times because now anytime our monitors ding or we get a hit, the IOC calls to verify that we're okay.
Okay.
This is a lie. Troy's truck last started at 10:25 and 4 seconds a.m. and turned off at 10:25 and 24 seconds a.m. Geotap GPS, it did not get turned on again until he left 3 hours 33 minutes later. So this leaves me wondering what he was actually doing that made his gas monitor go off and inform IOC, who called him 3 times to check he was okay. 11:30 a.m., Lauren Arnold, Shanann's friend, said she tried to contact Shanann on Monday, August 13th, between 11:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. to ask her about the doctor appointment and to ask when she wanted to meet this week. No response. 11:30 a.m., Kerry Wood, director at Primrose School in Erie, said that Alba Orantes, the assistant director, spoke with Shanann's mother, Sandra Rousseck, midday. Wood asked Orantes what time it was they spoke, and Orantes recalled around 11:30 a.m. Again asking if the girls were dropped off. 11:42 a.m., Christina Meacham texts Shanann saying, "Hey Mama, are you okay? Please give us a sign you are. We are worried." 11:46 a.m., Nickole Atkinson texts Shanann saying, "I'm very worried about you, I'm coming to your house." 11:46 a.m., Nickole Atkinson left the area near 1721 Tulip Street, Longmorn, and proceeded to travel to Shanann's house. 14-mile drive. 33 minutes, 57 miles per hour, arrived at 12:20 p.m. Life 360. 12 p.m., Chris said he continued working and at noon he realized he never heard from Shanann. He called and texted Shanann and said, "Hey, call me." 12 p.m., under 0.2 mile. Around 350 steps recorded on Chris's personal phone. 12:02 p.m., Chris said he received an alert 2 minutes after noon, visitor detected on his doorbell. 12:10 p.m., Chris received a doorbell alarm on his cell phone stating someone was at the front door. Visitor detected. Chris's digital doorbell notified him that Shanann's friend Nickole Atkinson was at his door. In interview, Chris said, "Then about 12:10 p.m., that's when my doorbell visitor, not visitor, another one came. It popped up on my phone and it said it was Nickole. And was driving. I put her on my phone to see if she was just trying to get in or whatnot, and I hear like she's on the phone trying to, I could hear her, through my phone saying, should I get to Shanann's? That's when I called her." 12:16 p.m., Josh Rosenberg text Chris saying, "Hey bro, Cassie asked me if I've heard from Shanann today. I guess her and Nikki can't get a hold of her. Have you heard from her today?" 12:16 p.m., Chris took 2 photographs of sunflowers in an open prairie. Bear in mind he is doing this while at Survey 1029 with his workmates.
We all know that he took the pictures of Nickole and sunflowers, so he probably took those pictures thinking about Nickole.
12:17 p.m., Chris's phone received an alert from his Vivint panel. Cassie Rosenberg had been chatting with Nickole Atkinson about not being able to reach Shanann. She was on the phone with Nickole when she went to the Watts house. Nickole was showing her the house through her phone video. Christina Meacham said she was on the phone with Nickole Atkinson also. When she got to the house, she told Nickole to put the code in and open the door. 12:18 p.m., in response Chris called Nickole Atkinson and held a 1-minute conversation. He asked Nickole what was going on and she said she hadn't heard from Shanann the entire day. He thought, alright, this is kinda strange. Nickole told him Shanann's car was there and she could see Shanann's shoes by the front door. 12:20 p.m., according to Life 360 data, Nickole Atkinson arrives at Shanann's house and stays for 26 minutes. 12:20 p.m. to 12:47 p.m. Nickole says she went to the house, knocked on the door, rang the doorbell. She could see the shoes she had on sitting right inside the door. She tried the code in the door but the top lock was flipped on. They shouted Shanann through the gap in the open door but got no reply. Nickole and her son could not see through the garage windows because they are too high. So she backed her car up so her son Nick could see through the windows. He saw Shanann's car was there. Once they saw the car they went back to the front door, opened it up and shouted Shanann again a few times.
I think that's when he noticed the car seats in the car too. Could see him through the back window, maybe.
They also saw the bar on the back sliding door was on, so it was locked and the dog was put up. She then called Chris and told him she was worried about Shanann. She said she's not at home, her car's here but she's not at home. He told her she didn't take the kids to daycare and they were going on a play date. Nickole said, well, if they went on a play date, why doesn't she have her car? He then proceeded to tell her, I don't know what Shanann has told you or if you know any of this. I'm not trying to bring you in on any of our personal stuff, but me and Shanann are separating and we're gonna sell the house. Nickole said, Chris, your personal stuff is none of my business, that's not my concern right now. Either you'll work things out or you won't, but where is your wife? How can Nickole Atkinson only arrive at the Watts house at 12:20 p.m., which shows on her Life 360 GPS, but be motion detected on the Ring doorbell alarm at 12:10 p.m. and be seen by Chris and heard talking at that time?
I had my son with me, my 16-year-old and my 2-year-old, and I go to their house, and I knocked on the door, and I rang the doorbell, and her shoes that she had on the night before were right inside the door.
And those were inside the door, and you could see them?
Yeah, I could see them, because the way their door is, it's a door, and then there's 2 glass panels on each side.
Okay.
Oh, so she didn't answer, I knocked, she rang the doorbell, she didn't answer, and then I tried the code. I didn't even think to look for the car yet, but I tried the code, and then when I went to open the door, they have one of those locks like you have in a hotel room up top.
Oh, yeah.
So that was
thing that flip over.
That was flipped. So I couldn't get in, but I mean you could stick your arm in, but you couldn't get in.
Right.
So I was like, okay.
So you have the code for the door?
I do have the code for the door.
Okay.
But I couldn't get
Right.
in.
Okay.
So then I was like, why would they flip this lock? The only time I know of them flipping that lock is when Cece, their 3-year-old, tries to escape. Or, I mean, I don't know if they flip it at night because I'm never there when they go to bed, but the only time I've seen them use it is when they're on the inside of the house.
Mm-hmm.
To keep Cece from going outside, because she's at that age where she can open the door and she escapes. So the lock was flipped, and I was like, I yelled through the door, nobody answered me, and then I told Nicholas, my son, I was like, because the garage panels where you can see in, it was too high for me. I'm like, come look and see for cars in the garage, and he couldn't. So then I backed my car up and pulled it up closer to the garage, and he stood on my hood to look and see, and her car was in the garage, and I'm like, why would, like, in the back door they have a sliding glass door too that you can see from the front door, and they have one of those things that comes down. That was locked
Key
too.
bar?
Yeah. That was locked too, and I'm like, and the dog was put up, and I don't know if they cage him all the time, but as far as I know, they only do it when they leave the house, so I don't know. And then I don't remember at what point I mean, I could look at my phone, but I did call Chris and said, I was like, Chris, I'm worried about Shanann. She's not at home, or I said her car's here, but she's not at home, and, do you know where she's at? Like, it's not, I haven't heard from her this morning. He then told me that she did not take the girls to daycare and they were going on a play date. And then I turned around and I was like, well, if they went on a play date, why doesn't she have her car? And then he proceeded to tell me, he's like, I don't know what Shanann's told you or hasn't told you, or if you know any of this, but he's like, and I'm not trying to bring you into our personal stuff, but me and Shanann are separating and we're going to sell the house. And at which point I said, Chris, your personal stuff is none of my business. That's not my concern right now. Either your wife and you will work things out or you won't. But where is your wife?
12:21 p.m., Chris texts Josh Rosenberg on his personal phone saying, I just talked to Nikki. Shanann went to a friend's house with the kids today. I haven't heard from her since. I will keep you updated though. 12:21 p.m., Josh replied. Okay, the girls are worried. 12:22 p.m., Chris said. I know. I just saw Nikki on the doorbell camera. The door alarm alerted and the alarm company called Chris at work. 12:27 p.m., Chris called Nickole Atkinson and held a 2.5-minute conversation. He asked if she was messing with the door. She said yes and he said, I will try and contact Shanann. 12:27 p.m., and Meadows sent an iMessage to both Chris and Shanann saying, Hi. I'm working on your market analysis. I would like to bring my listing coordinator with me when I bring it. Did you finish the basement? Any other upgrades? Thanks, but. Chris said. Basement is still unfinished. No other upgrades. And replied, there's a house in your neighborhood, 6508, Saratoga Trail, looks like the same model. Do you agree? Confirming 3-car garage.
Chris seems mighty okay here. He knows to call the school, he knows to call her, he knows to text her back, he wants to sell the house, he's canceling the Aspen trip. He seems like he's in his right mind. So I don't believe the whole, oh, I was out of my mind, something was forcing my hand, there was the evil upon me, because it just doesn't line up with this.
Chris said. 3-car garage. I will drive by the 6508 address when I get home. And replied, thanks Chris, not a lot of comps. I have a call into that realtor to see what it sold for. It's under contract so that will give us a number. Nickole Atkinson called Addie Maloney and told her what was going on. 12:31 p.m., Addie Maloney texted Chris saying, Hey, is Shanann okay? Everyone is worried. It's not like her to not respond and we haven't heard back from her all day. Chris said. She went to a friend's house with the kids. She won't tell me where though. When I get home I will update you. Addie replied, okay, thank you Chris. Praying for you all. Love you guys. Chris said. Thank you. 12:40 p.m., Cassie Rosenberg called Nickole Atkinson. Nickole was also talking with Christina Meacham, who tell her to go back to the house and call the police. Nickole said Cassie called her when she was heading back to the house, but Life 360 shows she was still at the house at this point. Nickole continued to try to contact Shanann via telephone and by knocking at the door of the house. Nicholas Atkinson, Nickole's son, set off the garage door alarm. 12:41 p.m., Chris called Nickole Atkinson on his personal phone and held a 40-second conversation. Chris asked if they were still at his house messing with the door. Atkinson said no. In interview she said she lied and was still there at the house. Chris told them to not call the cops and to not kick his door in. 12:42 p.m., garage door alert. Christopher gave the police consent to check Shanann's phone. It had an alert which stated the garage door was opened at 12:42 hours.
Wonder who opened that door. Because as far as I know, they never made it in. Nickole Atkinson and her son never made it in. So if she had left, somebody could have been in the house, or maybe just set off an alarm with them messing with the garage so much. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.
Nickole and her son Nicholas were still at the house at this point. 12:43 p.m., Cassie texted Chris saying, This is Cassie. Shanann is in a very bad way emotionally and I'm worried about her. I know you are having issues, but I don't know to what extent, but I do know I have never seen her so broken to an extent I am worried. Chris said. She went to a friend's house with the kids. She won't tell me where though. When I get home I will update you.
Yeah, yada, yada, yada. Same thing to all her friends and family.
Cassie replied. Sweetie, nobody knows about you and her other than Nikki and I, so where would she go if not with Nikki and not to Arizona where I'm at? Her car and shoes and everything is at the house. What the heck is going on with you guys that she would totally shut out everything? It's not like her.
Nope.
Chris said. I told Nikki about it so she wouldn't freak out anymore at the house. I think Christina knows as well. We talked last night, and I told her I wanted to sell the house, get something smaller. Separation would be best right now if we can work through the issues. I really don't want you to think I'm a bad person, Cassie.
No.
Cassie replied. Right now I don't care about you, or your relationship, or what type of person you are or not, or what I think of you, and I'm not trying to be rude when I say that. 12:47 p.m., Nickole Atkinson told detectives that she leaves the doctor's office and texts Shanann saying, I have been to your house, you won't open your door, your alarm's set. Your shoes are sitting inside, your car's home, I am so very concerned about you right now. I need you to text me or call me and just tell me okay if you don't want to talk to nobody, you don't want to be around nobody, I get it, it's fine, but I need to know you're okay.
Well, according to this, she had left. Nickole Atkinson had left by 12:42 because 20 minutes later she is at wherever she just said she was at. She's at a salon or something. I don't know. I don't want to go back, but so who opened that garage door? Who was there to do that?
However, at this point she was still at Shanann's house, and was just leaving there to go to the doctor's office. 12
Doctor's office. That what it was.
12:47 p.m., Nickole Atkinson leaves Shanann's house to go to the doctor's to see if Shanann had been for her appointment. This trip took 25 minutes, 12:47 p.m. to 1:13 p.m., 61 miles per hour. Life
Okay, scratch that. She didn't leave till 12:47. The garage was opened at 12:42, so it was most likely them messing with the garage.
360. This is neighbor Nate's video showing her leaving at this exact time.
I wish that bush wasn't there. Ugh, I so do. I think it's been cut down now, but
On this trip there are no stops recorded. Nickole goes to the doctor's office, keeps the engine running as her son Nicholas said his mum went in, he was in the car, and then they returned to the Watts house. So the whole journey took 25 minutes and they arrived back at the Watts house at 1:13 p.m. Chris called Luke Epple to say he was going home as his wife was missing. Luke said Chris called him Monday, August 13th, and said he couldn't get a hold of his wife, and his wife's friends also couldn't get a hold of her. Luke said Chris told him he needed to go home and find out what was going on. He told Chris it was fine and if he needed the day off to just let him know. At 10:29 Chad McNeil said Chris began talking on his telephone. Chad learned that some type of security alarms were activating at Chris's home, and Chris took approximately 5 or 6 calls while standing near Troy McCoy's truck. Cody Roberts said, himself, Chad and Melissa were at Chad's truck watching a video while waiting for rods to cool down. He said Troy was at his truck and Chris was at his truck on his phone. Troy commented that Chris needed to defecate and pulled his pickup to the south side of the holding tanks on Survey 1029. 12:52 and 17 seconds p.m., Chris moved his truck to go and defecate.
are you kidding me? There's people at the house about to beat the door down, and he stops to do that. This is a sick, cowardly. I just can't say enough bad things about this guy.
12:52 and 53 seconds p.m., Chris parks his truck and goes to defecate. GPS, he was there for 4 minutes. 12:57 and 37 seconds p.m., Chris started his truck. 12:57 and 59 seconds p.m., Chris stopped his truck. Was there for 3 minutes still at Survey 1029, Geotab GPS. 1 p.m., Very little movement on Chris's personal phone, around 5 steps recorded. 1 p.m. Lauren Arnold said she saw Frankie's, Shanann's brother, Facebook post about Shanann and the girls missing. 1:01 and 20 seconds p.m. Chris leaves Survey 1029 and drives for 1 hour, distance of 44 miles. He was heading home. GPS. 1:03 p.m. Cassie Rosenberg text Chris saying, "Right now I'm worried about your damn wife and her well-being. Nikki is calling the police, period. She is broken emotionally. Her blood sugar dropped due to not eating and it could cause her to pass out. Meant pass out. So unless you want the police to bust your damn door down, you get home and check on your family. I'm sorry if I am being rude or whatever, but I'm seriously concerned."
Oh no, he definitely doesn't want that because he's got to be able to plant that ring evidence.
1:05 p.m. Chris said, "I'm going home, Cassie. On my way. Don't call the police. I will be there in 45 minutes." Cassie replied, "Thank you. Nikki and I know what state she was in all weekend and we want to see she isn't in the house, because this is seriously a concern." 1:07 p.m. Chris called Cassie and held a 1-minute conversation. Cassie said it sounded like he was driving. He told Cassie not to call the police. He did not want the police involved. He said he was sure Shanann was fine. Cassie told him if he was not there in 30 minutes then she was calling the police. 1:13 p.m. Troy McCoy text Chris saying, "I hope everything is okay, man. If you need anything let me know." 1:13 p.m. Nickole Atkinson and her son arrived back at Shanann's house and stayed there for 2 hours 33 minutes. 1:13 p.m. to 3:46 p.m. Live 360. When they got back they opened the door and shouted for Shanann again. 1:30 p.m. Nickole Atkinson said she had plans to go to lunch with Shanann and a new promoter at this time. 20 minutes passed since Chris called Cassie and he still was not there, so Cassie told Nickole to call the police. 1:31 p.m. Nickole Atkinson called Chris saying, "Chris, where are you? You said you were gonna be 30 minutes. Chris said, "I'm on my way. I'm on I-70. I'm 45 minutes out." Nickole said, "Well, I'm calling the police to have a wellness check." 1:33 p.m. Nickole Atkinson called the Frederick Police Department non-emergency line.
Good.
County Communications, this is Stacey. Hi, Stacey. My name's Nickole, and I'm calling because I'm concerned about a friend of mine. I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning last night because we were out of town together, and we were on the way back from the airport, and she's having issues, and she's pregnant, and I haven't been able to get a hold of her this morning, and I've gone to her house, and her car's there, and stuff like that, but she won't answer the door, she won't answer phone calls, she won't answer text messages, and I'm just really, really concerned, and she had a doctor's appointment this morning, and she didn't go to it, and I don't know what to do. I've called him and talked to him, and he said that she went on a play date with her other 2 daughters, but, like, if she went on a play date, they're both in car seats. Why would she not take her car?
Perfectly understandable. Do you happen to know her address, Nickole?
I'm asking to send up at her house. It's 2825 Saratoga Trail in Frederick. And then I said, like, "Chris, can you just come home and check to make sure she's okay? Because the shoes she wears every single day are right inside her door." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll be there in 3 minutes." Well, that was 45 minutes ago. And I called him and asked him again, "Can you please come home?" And he's like, "I'm 45 minutes out."
Okay, Nickole, I'll go ahead and call in. I just need you, if you could please repeat her address to make sure I have it entered correctly.
2825 Saratoga is SARTOGATR.
Okay,
Everything stands for trail.
thank you. Okay, Nickole, tell me exactly what happened.
So, we were out of town for work, and we flew in last night. Our flight got delayed, and I dropped her off at her house at 2 in the morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant, and she wasn't feeling well over the weekend, and she was very, like, distraught and out of the sorts because her and her husband are having issues. So, I was concerned because she wasn't, like, eating or drinking and stuff like that. So then this morning, I was like, "Let me know if you need me to take you to your doctor's appointment because you're not feeling well." And I have called and texted. I've come to her house. She's not answering the door. She's not responding to text messages, phone calls. I've had other friends reach out to her. None of us can get her to respond to us. They have two little girls that are 3 and 4. I mean, there's no movement in the house whatsoever. And he states that she didn't take them to daycare and was going to go on a play date, but they're both in car seats and her car is here. What's her name? It's in the garage. And I'm like, well, huh? What's her name? Shanann Watts. It's SHANANN Watts. WATTS. Do you know her date of birth or how old she might be? Oh, if you would have asked me that, I would know it. That's okay. If you just know her approximate age, that you take that into. She's in her 20s, early 30s. Bear with me here one moment. When was the last time that you heard from her? When I dropped her off at her house, I watched her, made sure she got in the house. That was at 2 a.m. It was actually 1:55. I literally lived like 5-10 minutes from her. Okay. And her vehicle is it parked in the garage? Yes. It's a white Lexus. And I probably, because I was concerned, I know I don't want to get a doctor's office in trouble, but I went to the doctor's office because I've been used in as doctors, and I said, I know you can't give me things because of HIPAA, but can you just tell me if she showed up at her appointment this morning? And the lady was like, no, she did not. Okay. Is that's unusual behavior for her to not show up to her doctor's appointment? No. Okay. No. Pregnancy, like, she was so excited and then got blindsided from her husband that he wanted to separate a week ago. And her husband's name is Chris? Yes, his name is Chris Watts. And he told you that she went on a play date today with the girls. Okay. Yeah, but their 4-year-old and she told me last night when we were driving home, she's like, the morning's going to suck because I have to take the girls to daycare tomorrow. And I made the statement, well, you could keep them home with you. And she was like, no, that'd be more exhausting. She's like, I have to get up and take them because I have a doctor's appointment at 9. Bear with me here one moment. I'm just typing this information in the call here. And I'm not trying to cause problems more between them. I just want to know she's okay. What's her phone number? Give me 1 second and I'll look it up for you. It is 910-850-3286. Okay. And Chris told you that he was on his way. Yes, I just talked to him. Well, I talked to him earlier. One of our other friends did via text because I was going to the doctor's office, and she said he would be here in about 30 minutes, and that was at 1:08. And then I called in and said, Chris, I'm at your house. I'm not trying to cause drama or anything. I just need to know your wife, okay? I was like, where are you? And he was like, I'm on I-70. I'm about a half hour to 45 minutes out. And I just said, okay, and then I hung up and called you guys because I'm just worried. Okay, Nickole, what kind of vehicle are you in right now? I'm in a white Dodge Dart. Alrighty, we do have a call in, Nickole. We'll have an officer come out that way as soon as we can. I would just advise you, to not try to make entry into the house or anything like that until the officers can get there. In the meantime, if you do hear from her, just give us a call back and let us know, okay? Okay. All right, you're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
2825 Saratoga Trail of a party who's checking on a friend who's pregnant who's not answering the door.
Nickole Atkinson is the best friend ever. She is the one that brought the attention early enough to where they couldn't get away with anything else that they were planning. Chris planted something in the car that he got out when the police got there. That had to have been something involved with it. I believe the gas can had something to be involved with it. And this woman now knows that she dropped Shanann off. She was the last person to see Shanann alive. And it eats at her every day. I've watched videos of her, and she still cries to this very day. Shanann was such a good, dear friend to her, and vice versa. And I pray for her. I do all the time.
1:36 p.m., Frederick Police Department received a call for a welfare check at 2825 Saratoga Trail in Frederick, Colorado. The reporting party for the welfare check was Nickole Atkinson. 1:40 p.m., on the 13th of August, 18 at approximately 13:40 hours, Officer Coonrod was dispatched to 2825 Saratoga Trail on a check well-being call. 1:50 and 17 seconds p.m., Officer Coonrod arrived at the Watts house. 1:52 p.m., Nickole Atkinson said she called Chris because he still wasn't back. Officer Coonrod did ask her to call Chris at this time to see if they could get a passcode to get in the garage and give him permission to go in. He then goes round the back, so we don't see if she called or not, but there is no record that she did.
Nope.
Do you mind calling him and seeing if we can get a passcode to this and get me permission to go in?
Okay.
I'm just gonna check the back, see if I can see anything.
1:52 and 54 seconds p.m., Nicholas Atkinson tells Officer Coonrod the garage door code box doesn't work from the outside.
Oh, it doesn't?
Which I believe is a lie. Not 100%, but I believe is a lie. I thought that I heard that on another channel, but it's all alleged until we have proof of that.
1:54 p.m., Officer Coonrod asks Nate, the next-door neighbor, if he's seen his neighbors today.
How you doing? You seen your neighbors today? No? Okay. Oh, we're just trying to get a hold of her.
1:57 and 23 seconds p.m., Nate tells Officer Coonrod he thinks Shanann is diabetic.
Oh, is she?
Thank God for nosy Nate, right?
1:57 and 45 seconds p.m., Nickole Atkinson is talking on her phone to Sandra Rusek, Shanann's mom, asking for the garage door code. Why would she do this if she knows it doesn't work?
But you don't believe Chris or a word he's saying.
To open the garage from the outside. What is it? His mom's gonna get it.
She said Sandra didn't know what was going on, she hadn't called her prior to this. But at this point she told her what was going on. Sandra says Chris told her Shanann was at a girlfriend's house. She said he told her that this morning. If this is the case, then why would Sandra feel the need to call the preschool that morning?
Okay.
Because Sandra had the feeling that her daughter's soul was passing, and she woke up the whole house, and she was worried, and she called the school in the morning, and then she was more worried, and she called Shanann, and she didn't answer, she was more worried. Mother's intuition. If you got kids, you know what I'm saying.
Well, he's the property
Well,
owner.
they told me Shannon was at her girlfriend's house.
Do we know who that is?
Do we know who?
Or phone number?
He didn't say.
When did he tell you that?
He needs Mrs. Jackson's money. I don't get it.
1:58 p.m., Sandra asks Frank what the key code of the garage is. He asks why. She said for Shanann's house, the cops are there.
Frank, what's the key code of the garage? Shannon's house. The cops are there.
1:59 p.m., Nickole Atkinson said she called Chris because he still wasn't back. She asked him, "Where are you?" because the police were there and wanted to get in the house. Chris said he was 10 or 15 minutes out. 1:59 p.m. Officer Coonrod asks Nickole Atkinson for Chris's phone number. He then calls Chris and gets his answering machine.
What's Chris's phone number?
They have the top lock, the one that they have on there, so CC can't escape. Chris's phone number is 910-309-1702.
Okay. It was Chris, correct? Okay.
Why isn't the dog barking this whole time? That's what's really weird. Where's Dieter? I mean, you don't hear him barking at all. Somebody have him in the basement, keeping him quiet. Maybe Nickole. She's been around Dieter.
(1:59 and 12 seconds p.m.) Troy McCoy left Survey 10:29. He drove for 40 minutes and a distance of 25 miles. GPS. 2 p.m. Around 70 steps recorded on Chris's work phone. After this, Chris's work phone records nothing more till 7 p.m. 2 p.m. Over 2.0 miles. Around 530 steps recorded on Chris's personal phone. This is odd as Chris has been driving home since 1:03 p.m., so there should be no steps recorded on his phones. 2 p.m. Lauren Arnold said she spoke to Frankie, Shanann's brother, at this time after she saw the missing person report Frankie had put on Facebook, which she saw about 1 p.m. Frankie called her on Facebook, then on her phone number after she sent it to him. This happened around 1:30 to 2 p.m. Why would Frankie be putting a "my sister and her girls are missing" on Facebook at 1 p.m.? This is before the police came, and according to Nickole Atkinson, Shanann's mom didn't at this point know anything was going on.
Because Shanann was not the type of person to not call her mom, not call her friends, not answer text messages. They knew better. They knew something had happened. Terrible. Or she'd be calling back.
This I don't understand at all. 2 p.m. Officer Coonrod gets through to Chris on the phone. Chris tells him he is 5 minutes out from home. 2:01 and 56 seconds p.m. Chris stopped for 4 minutes at 6507 Black Mesa Road prior to going home. This is 2 minutes away from Saratoga Trail. 2:02 p.m. Nick Atkinson tells Officer Coonrod that Shanann is not close to her parents. They live out.
Really quick, what do you think he stopped for? To drop something off? To get rid of some evidence? But the police never checked up on that either.
Out of state. They don't know anything that goes on at the house. 2:02 and 48 seconds p.m. Nick also says, "And all her stuff is here, and I set off the garage alarm trying to get in there forcefully. It didn't work, and their alarm is one of the ones that goes off and it feels like it's making your ears bleed, so if she was in there she would have heard it while she was sleeping, because they have little things on the wall in every room that go off." This tells me they knew Shanann was not in the house, and how did he know all Shanann's stuff was there? If the alarm went off, why didn't Nate hear it? He commented it is loud but never said he heard it.
What's Shannon's number?
It's 910.
It's pretty loud.
Sorry.
That's kind of weird.
2:03 and 42 seconds p.m. Officer Coonrod asks Nickole for Shanann's phone number. 2:04 and 4 seconds p.m. Officer Coonrod tries to ring Shanann. 2:05 and 10 seconds p.m. Officer Coonrod states he doesn't hear Shanann's phone ringing in the house. Does this mean Shanann's phone was turned on and was ringing out? Nick tells him Nate has a security camera system, and him and Nickole asked him to see if he could have a look to see if Shanann left the house. 2:05 and 47 seconds p.m. Chris starts his drive from Black Mesa Road to home. 2:06 and 57 seconds p.m. Nickole Atkinson is now on the phone to Addie Maloney. 2:07 and 44 seconds p.m. Chris pulls up at home. His truck stays there for 20 hours 37 minutes. 2:07 and 46 seconds p.m. Chris's work phone logs on the home router. 2:08 and 10 seconds p.m. Chris enters through the garage.
Wow, I guess he used his garage door opener.
2:08 and 18 seconds p.m. Chris opens Shanann's car and gets something from it. I believe he gets Shanann's ring.
I think it's either the ring or the phone, because he could have got Shanann's phone out of there and stuffed it in the couch before he opened the door, because he said that he found the ring on the counter. So that places it inside the home. I don't know why he put it in the car, but he later finds it on the bedstand table, so I'm not sure. One or the other. Looks like a phone to me.
2:08 and 23 seconds p.m. Neighbor Nate informs the officer that a white car left there at 1:48 a.m. Nickole stated that was her. The officer asked Nate if he can check to see if there is any more footage from today. Nate says I can go look at it if he doesn't find her. He is basically saying he will check out his footage if Chris doesn't find Shanann and the girls in the house. 2:08 and 28 seconds p.m. Chris enters the house through the interior garage door. 2:08 and 30 seconds p.m. Chris's personal phone logs on the home router. It didn't log on his router until he was in the house. 2:09 and 3 seconds p.m. Nickole tells Shanann's mom the girls' car seats are in the car. 2:09 and 35 seconds p.m. Chris opens the front door. Nickole Atkinson is now on the phone with Sandra, Shanann's mom, Cassie Rosenberg and possibly Addie Maloney all at the same time. Nickole said she called Shanann's mom and called Cassie and they were all on the phone over speaker. So they heard everything going on when they all went in the house. Shanann's mom, Sandra, told Nickole to check the knives, and check in the basement, and also to see if the girls' meds are there, and see if Shanann's purse was there. Nickole told her to calm down and let's see if she's in the house. At this point no purse was found. Nickole said Cece's shoes were by the shoe closet and Bella's shoes by the back door, and a pair for both outside. She said she was going to call the school to see if the girls were there, but doesn't say if she did or not.
Oh, I bet you her stomach is, or her heart is in her stomach, is what I meant to say. She is terrified because she sees the shoes, she sees the car seat, she sees a bigger picture now. I wonder what was going on in her head at this moment.
It was odd to me because there was a pair of CC's shoes right there, sat outside their shoe closet, and then there was a pair of shoes right by the back door. I think they were Bella's, and then for whatever reason there was two pairs of shoes of the girls' shoes out on the back porch on a chair.
Hey, that could mean that he took them out the back, or someone took them out the back and locked up nicely. And remember, the screen was broken, and there was a basement. The basement screen was broken, and there was that suitcase that would let somebody crawl out of the basement. House was locked up immaculately, like you would if you were inside. So let me know what you guys think about this one. The next one is going to be pretty much them going through the house and everything. I know a lot of you have seen that. If you want me to do that one, we can go through that one next, or we can skip that one and go to the next one. So you guys let me know what you would like, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will see you guys on Monday, and I hope you enjoy these. We've got several left, and I think we're getting pretty close. And I'm starting to suspect a lot more things that I didn't even think about before. So, all right, guys. Love you guys. Love you. Have a wonderful weekend. I already said that. I never know how to end these things, but bye, guys. I will see you later, Monday.